Good morning, everyone in Facebook land and all the ships at sea. It's Spirit Sessions, episode 44, and on November the 4th. It's a wonderful day in the neighborhood. If you
Woohoo.
haven't been with us before, I'd like to introduce my co-hosts, Teresa Warren and Bex Marie, and we'd like you all to share this out. You know Marla Torres well, but we'd like somebody else to win our
Thank you.
session with Bex Marie this week. Marla, you can still share out. We love it that you do, but we'd like someone else to win a special session with Bex Marie this week. And at the end of the show, we will tell you who won last week's share out, but you probably have a good hint now who won. Um,
Yes, yes,
Today
yes.
we have a very special guest, someone who is very close to our hearts and my heart, and a fellow Akashic Academy member and a fellow Akashic Records reader class member. It's Tovar.
Mm.
And Nestor is just a said earlier, he's sort of a magical person. I like to think of him as. He has a great knowledge of the brain, and he's going to share that with us today. So everyone, please get a pen and a paper because we're going to do some really cool remote exercises, and we're gonna expand our third eye and get our brain all lit up so we can increase our gifts, and we're going to do some exercises. So if you want to play along, get a pen and a paper. And I'm going to hand it over to you, Teresa. And remember to share this out and like it up, because we like it when you do.
So it wasn't so very long ago when the Akashic Academy was just barely planting its roots and letting it grow deep in the ground. And all of us were meeting in Emily's class, and she was nurturing us like the wonderful plants that we were, rooting and growing our little leaves, our talents and skills. And so that's where Rhonda and I met, and Rhonda and I and Bex met, and that's where we all met Nestor, and we all used to inspire each other. Well, we still do. And so that's where we met Nestor. But our friend Nestor has studied many healing modalities, including energy healing, Akashic records, hypnotherapy, remote vision, spirit walking, astral travel, and mind projection, just to name a few. He's an aspect of not only the Jinn, but of Archangel Castiel, if any of you know who that is. Supernatural fans out there would. And we are excited to have him as a guest on our show today. So, Nestor, you said that all these modalities that I just read about have a right brain connection. What exactly do you mean by that? What is a right brain connection?
A right brain connection kind of goes into two different things. We know the left brain controls our five senses, which is, in the third dimension, which is, look, touch, taste, smell, um, hearing, audio. um, so, uh, these are all part of the left brain hemisphere. Well, there's been many studies done by scientists, a lot of the shamans, sages, rishis, all of them had this knowledge and knew that the right brain had um, its own senses, and it's actually more than five. You have more senses than what you know, and these are more on fourth dimensional. You're not limited by the physical linear, you're outside of time and space. So you could see future, present, past, um, and then you also have the ability to acquire accurate information on a person, place, object, or event without using, the physical senses that I just talked about on the left brain hemisphere.
So what's remote perception? Is that tied into that as well?
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure you guys heard of like clairvoyance or, someone being able to astral travel and then they could, see themselves in your room and tell you, what type of desk or Others see them as spirit walking. Um, and you're going in between different brain waves, which is alpha and theta. Generally we're in a beta, then we drop into an alpha, then a theta, and delta would be your sleep. You know, but the word remote perception, I like it better than the word remote vision that's out there. I think remote vision is a very limited word for the senses that we have. We have more than just visuals, and I'll go over that a little bit more in depth. Um, so one of the main things that remote perception is honing in on all these other abilities that we have. And when I started out learning the Akashic records, I remember I used to get frustrated because everybody would talk about getting visuals, and I wasn't
Right.
getting visuals. I was just either clair-knowing or
Yeah. They're sentient.
clairsentient. I would feel the
They're
information.
cognizant.
So it would kind of frustrate me that I couldn't get visuals, and I started thinking like, well, maybe something's wrong with me. I was kind of getting like, why are they getting visuals? I can't get visuals. Um, am I not meditating hard enough? Am I not getting the right brainwave? Stuff like that. And then through this research that I started wondering why some people get visuals, why others don't. I discovered that, and I don't know if I agree on what they're calling it, but there's a rare condition that they call aphantasia, where a person doesn't have a mind's eye, or they can't get visuals. And what they found is that these people turn on the same part of the brain by writing or doing other activities, where a person that gets visuals, this part of the brain turns on for them. So by understanding that, I was able to, one, create my own visuals later on by doing certain exercises that got me into the right brain, hemisphere. And then visuals actually started streaming for myself. But it's like a muscle, you have to keep up with the practices until, you strengthen it. And what I find is that when I'm doing, less practice or less work, or I don't have a steady practice, it doesn't go fully dormant, but the visuals ain't as clear or as strong as, I've gotten them. So that's a little bit something that, during this, I want to reach out to people that are struggling, with their visuals and want to start streaming visuals. They could send me a message or drop a comment and just say, hey, I kind of want to work with creating this for myself. But I also want to help people hone in on the current abilities. And that's what I like about remote perception, is that there's these little psychic games or, remote perception techniques that help you understand which dominant clairs are inside of you, and like I said, I'll go over those a little bit more. And I have my notes here, so I want to make sure I stay on topic, because if you guys know me, I'll like start expanding on stuff and keep talking and talking.
Yeah, we're being very careful. We just get, we can listen to
All
you
right,
for a
so
long time.
Yeah.
I covered a little bit like the visual, which is the clairvoyance, and then a few more are clairsentience. So that is, again, the feeling, psychometry. And the thing that I learned with psychometry, you could touch the item and pick up the energetic imprint. But I also, with remote perception, was able to just show people the object, and they're in Australia or they're in, the East Coast, and I'm in California, and they're able to pick it up just by focusing or honing in on that object. So they didn't actually have to touch it. And then it's also relates to kinesthetic. So a lot of times you hear of Reiki or, energy healers that are doing energy work, and the, clear visual or perception, or they just know what's wrong with the person. It's because they're activating, these things inside, feeling the energy, and then they're starting to learn to translate it. So that's another technique that we use where you start learning how to bring in energy and read it. Um, the other one would be clairaudience, and this one, some people actually hear a voice, like it's, pretty loud or low, or it's audio. For others, it's just like an inner voice. It sounds like themselves, and sometimes you struggle with this because you think it's your own thought, or so
Exactly.
that's another one. The other one, like I said, is one of the ones that I was dominant in is claircognizance, and this is just like a knowing
Right.
or a
Yeah.
download.
It's cozy writing.
And this is another thing, like, and this is why I had to take notes is, I'll be talking about something and I'll get a download and like just go completely shift to that, other thing because I have to get it out and able in order for me to actually comprehend the concept that I'm receiving at the time. Um, Another one would be clairgustance, which is the taste. And what I learned about this is it's weird, some of you probably have heard of synesthesia where they kind of like start blending, these different senses start blending. So you'll taste color, Uh,
Yeah.
so what I was there's different ways to get you into the right brain. One is like forcing you to shut down like certain senses, by blindfolding. Some even put earplugs and stuff like that. And while we're doing the blindfold technique, if I wrote the word orange, they'd be like, I don't know, I'm smelling like a citrus, like an orange, or I'm tasting an orange,
Tasting.
and it was just the word orange, but they were actually tasting, what I wrote down, you know. So that's how these things. The last one, and it's not just that this is the last one. This is just some of the main ones. Is the clairalience, which is clear smelling or the olfactory. And I just covered that one a little bit. With they were smelling the citrus. But in remote perception, you also like the military remote vision. They use like keywords, earthy, smell murky, whatever, and that starts developing this as well. So, like I said, I've been in different remote vision or remote perception classes, and they all had a pretty good technique on helping you, activate the right brain, and then developing other parts of, your senses other than the two dominant ones that usually display. Um,
So what
so
are
yeah,
some
I
of the
covered
things we
those.
can do
You guys
to
have
just say what are some of the things we can do to activate our right brain? Can you give us some hints here? Things.
yeah. So some of the things to get you into the right brain hemisphere. You guys probably heard of certain breathing techniques. You know, so the breath starts slowing down. Your mind. And then once you get into, a lower state or lower vibrations, you start getting into these alpha and theta states. Um, Another one would be, like I said, the cutting off the senses. So like using a blindfold or, being in a dark room or some people have even took it as far as going into like the sensory deprivation tanks, and they cut off all the other senses and they're just floating in this tank and they're able to, get greater insight. Um, a guided or transcendental meditation is another one. And what I learned about like going through these different meditations, because like I said, I was always wondering like, am I not meditating hard enough? Am I not doing it correctly? Um, while I was studying QHHT, the induction for hypnosis or regression therapy was almost similar to what they use on a guided meditation. If you notice, people start not lowering, but like slowing down the tone of their voice. So they're talking extra slow. Sorry, I got a pop up right here. So they're talking extra slow, and they're bringing your brain waves down, with that voice. That's the induction part of it. And then through these meditations, I've taken one where all it was a meditation. They brought you down, and then they start asking you, they guide you through seeing their place. What do you see? And then you're writing down, you're penning down. Actually writing, so like detailed writing or poetry or like stories, start putting you on the right brain. The right brain is all your creativity and intuition. Um, Another thing that you might see is like if you know about neuro linguistic programming or some of the people that go on like masters or gurus. I won't drop any names, but if you look on YouTube at different people, you'll see that they talk a lot slower when they're giving their lessons or whatever, and then they kind of like reiterate the things that the concepts they want you to grasp. In neuro linguistic programming, the induction, and then they're changing your perspective of how you see things, the traumas, certain mind states you've been stuck on, and then this when you're in the theta, this is where the healing comes in and rewiring of the brain. So you get all those negative thought patterns or belief systems out through this, and you're able to grasp the new concepts. Just like you hear somebody goes in to a hypnotherapist and they quit smoking, cold turkey after they're done with the session. It was able to reprogram the addiction they had and get rid of it. And in hypnotherapy, what I liked about it is that when you get into the subconscious state of mind, it's not someone programming you or telling you what you need to clear out. It's you, your subconscious, your higher self, however you want to look at it, actually saying, okay, so why is, Rhonda going through this continuous pattern? Why is she scared of that promotion? Well, when she was 9 and, the bases were loaded, she felt so much pressure and she struck out. And ever since then, she's had, fear of having pressure on herself. And it's yourself telling you that, and during this induction process, you're able to remote view a past life or a past situation, and explain it in detail. I mean, some people have even gone back to their birth, how they were, and they were able to verify with their moms and everything. So it's a really great modality. The only thing is that the induction could, and the session could take about 5 hours. And a lot of people are, one, scared of hypnosis because they think that they're going to control them in some way. Two, everybody's pressed for time. They don't want to, sit there for that long, or, they're scared of what they might say, so they don't always truly open up, So this kind of led me to going into, I need to find a modality that, one, they could see what's going on with themselves or others if they want to. And just keep going, with further honing in these skills, but without getting themselves into not a hypnotic state, but a theta state where they're able to do these abilities. Let me see. I want to make sure I covered. Yeah, we got. Yeah, you're able to do all these. So another thing, I played with the different concepts of using remote perception for like the blindfold reading. There's a lot of schools and stuff like that teach that, and they're picking up on colors, words, shapes, and patterns. This is like the very, I guess, basic part of it. And then I've even gone to the ones where you're scanning your own body or someone else's, a person's mental state, a person's physical state, or a person's emotional state. Even the mind reading, the first time I heard of this concept was Major Ed Dames, which was in charge of the U.S. Army's remote vision programs. And, he was talking about how he doesn't use it for like mind reading, but if he had a friend that's saying, hey, I think I'm going crazy, something's going on in my head, and then he made a joke like, oh, so you're a remote viewer too, because they're bringing in information or different things, He said he'll use it for that purpose, but he's not going to like read where his wife was, or anything like that. And that's good to have ethics in this thing, because you could use it for anything you
Yes.
want. Some people use it for
Right.
business, you know, personal gain, other things like that. So that is one thing that when I work with others or whatever, I make sure there's ethics there. Um, the thing that I'm trying to develop now, and I'm sure you guys heard of it, maybe it's a hard concept to actually believe in, is being able to tap into plants or the plant kingdom.
Oh, how neat.
You've heard of different shamans and Taoists, and that they went out into the wilderness, and they were able to figure out, this plant could be used to heal this, or this plant could be used to calm the mind, or they were reading the energetic imprint of that plant. So one of the things, and I have here, so I don't misquote it, is science has started to figure these things out. I'm sure some of you have heard that plants could communicate, or trees could communicate and send water to one more distant tree.
Yeah.
And the cells of the human body are ESP receptors. The cells can emanate and perceive oscillating waves like a wireless communication system. So I talked about how some scientists have done these tests, and I'll go a little bit more in. But there was also a guy completely separate from this, which was Baxter. He used to administer the lie detector tests,
Right. Yeah.
and lie detector tests pick up different waves. If you get nervous or anything like that. So what he did is he tied it up to animals, to plants. So with plants, he actually got a matchbook and started threatening the plant. And the plant started screaming, like it got really nervous, started screaming. So he thought this was kind of odd. So then he put plants in another room and hooked them up, and went back and threatened this one again. And then this one started not only screaming, but warning the other plants, that this was going on. So this was something that, kind of grasped my mind, and was like, hey, maybe those, shamans that say they talk to plants are not like so loopy, or,
Right.
it kind of led me down the path to want to start trying to tap into this.
That's amazing.
Let's see. I have another person that
That's
did a
really
study,
cool.
which is.
Can we do? I was just wondering if we're kind of running short on time. If we could
Oh
do
yeah,
two
let's do a time
exercises.
check.
Two exercises
game.
and get. Yeah, let's play a game. Everybody wants to put. Everybody got
Yeah,
their
Okay.
pen
let's
and
do that.
pencil. And
Woohoo.
Yeah, okay.
we'll do
So this
sort
other
of
one
one
was
of the
just
games
another
we play.
scientist, but we'll go with the game.
We'll go with
All
the
right.
game. We'll combo together.
So we'll have how much time do you have left?
We've got
Well,
it at 6 minutes.
6 minutes. Okay.
Yeah.
So just real quick, when you guys breathe, you can put your hand on your chest and one on your navel. When you breathe in, your stomach should have been the first to expand, then your chest. And bring that breath all the way up into your brain, and imagine it, firing up the neurons up there. So close your eyes. If you can, keep your eyes closed. But with that pen and paper, we're going to ask you a question. And then when we ask you the question, take 3 deep breaths. After the third one, just pen down whatever, whether it's a download, whether you hear it, whether you see it, any of the senses that I talked about, just pen it down what it is. Or if you could remember, you could remember it if you think you're going to get interrupted. But use the 3 breaths to relax you, and then try to figure out what we're doing. So take
And
about
don't
3 to
put your
4
answers
breaths.
in the comments. No answers
Yeah,
in
don't
the
put your
comments.
answers in the questions in the comments.
Correct, because we could also
At the
start
end, we'll have
making
you.
others pick up on your brainwaves versus the ones we're trying to send out for you guys to receive, or the target. So first we're gonna go with colors, and then we're gonna go into shapes. So if you guys are ready, go ahead and take 3 breaths or 4, and then try to see what color we're pulling up. And I'll make it easy. We're going to go off the chakra colors.
Tell them our first one first, and then go to the next one.
So you guys should have your first answer by now.
And you can heart it up if you got it, or put a thumbs up if you got it. Esther will tell you which one we sent to you, because we all know, because we're not on this.
Okay, so now we're going to move into the second one. This is again a color. Take 3 to 4 deep breaths. Okay, and you should be coming up on your answer.
We're going to do our third color, and then we'll give them colors for them.
What was that?
The shapes. Yeah, I said let's do our third color, and then we'll go into the shapes after that. But
Okay.
first, we'll give them the color, what the answers were.
Okay, so let's move into the third color. Go ahead and take your breaths. Alrighty.
Okay. So, what was the first color, Nestor? What first color did we?
So the first color was red.
Which we're all wearing, by the way. I just noticed.
Yeah. Well, my shirt's maroon, but
Oh, it's still a shade of red.
Oh, good. So, how many got red? Just put a hearts or throw some hearts on there, or so we can see, or do some thumbs up. Yeah. And so the next color.
Next color is purple.
Yeah, purple. Give me some comments. Anybody got purple? Oh, nice visuals there, Teresa. Love it. Yay! We got lots of hearts coming up.
Yes.
Okay. Great.
Okay, we ready for the third one?
Ready.
Third.
Okay. Third one was yellow.
Yellow. Yay for yellow. Okay.
This is so much fun.
It's
funny because
how's everybody liking this?
When I'm visualizing us, holding space for the color and kind of sending it out, I'm seeing the waves, like the circle waves coming out of the screen and hitting them in the head, and like flashes of the objects of that color. It's cool. I'm enjoying the experience of just, projecting it out.
Yeah.
Remember. Go ahead. Sorry, Mister.
So we're gonna go to the shapes next, and like I said, don't try to guess it. Just let it come in, or if you see it. If not, I know this is Rush. Usually we lead with a meditation to get you into that brainwave state. but just the breathing alone will get you there if you're really taking those deep breaths. Okay, so next we're going to move to a shape. Go ahead and take your deep breaths. And whenever you hear it, see it, feel like it's, this, go ahead and pen down your answer.
Yeah, and you can doodle. I usually doodle until I figure out things too. I found that was something that Nestor and I worked on.
Okay, everybody should be coming up on their answer. Now let's move.
Way to go. Chris said she looked and wrote all three colors I got before he went on. Yeah.
Yeah, that happens too sometimes.
That's pretty good. That's pretty, yeah. Really cool.
And sometimes people, instead of seeing what I'm projecting, they're seeing like the living room next to me, or different scenes in there.
Yeah.
So this is a fun game. So let's move into the last shape.
Okay. Last shape.
Okay. So go ahead and start taking your breaths. And the first thing that comes in, go ahead and pen that down. Don't second guess yourself. Okay, so you guys should be coming up on your answer.
Okay.
Okay. So the first shape was a star.
Yeah. Anybody get stars or triangles or pointies? Sometimes that's all you get is parts of them. So what do we do there, everybody?
Are we ready to reveal the last one, or?
Yeah, let's reveal the last one.
Okay, so the last one was a circle.
In your comments, I did. Now, again, I just wanted to let y'all know that in the beginning of the video is Nestor's email address, and you can also find Nestor Tovar on his Facebook page if you want to private message him. He'll be offering courses, and you can just have questions. Any questions, you're going to answer them in the comments too. If we didn't get to them today, there's so much information. I know we have to have you back, or I'm sure.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to explain it in 20 minutes because it expands on so many things.
Oh yeah.
But
it's just a tip
so another thing I would like to see, another thing I forgot to mention is if they got the colors but in different order, go ahead and comment that as well, because like I said, it's not linear time, so you might have pulled a color that we were about to pull out ahead. So just go ahead and say I saw this color before you pulled it. You pulled it on the third round and I got it on the second round. Because this is all learning on how to focus. Like I couldn't blindfold read nothing in front of me. It was always like in the back of my head or the person next to me. I was reading their things, when I was going through this, and then I had to figure out how to hone it in, dial it into, the actual target I want. So
Awesome.
yeah, just go ahead and leave those comments, and then any questions, and I'll try to answer those out for you guys.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Ahmed and Nestor get a hold of you, and you can also friend him on his Facebook page. You'll see his name. Marla said she got purple first, yellow second. So, yeah.
I think the important thing that we need to remember is that nobody's gonna get it the same way. Like everybody gets it in their own way, all bits and pieces of what works best for them. So trust what you get. If you only got part of a star or you got, a light shade of like, it depends on what your ability to receive is, what you're open to receiving. So just trust what comes through,
Correct.
And it's
Yeah,
practice,
that's the biggest
right?
thing.
It's practice.
Trusting, and then even the best psychic or the best remote viewers, the best they have gotten is 80 to 90%,
Right.
of the thing. And if you're, no one goes to the gym and starts curling 100, they work their way up 20,
Right.
40, 60, 80, So that's another point. Don't be so hard on yourself. Have fun with it. It's not a test where it's pass or fail. It's learning to play with this and make it easy. No stress on yourself. Don't be like me that was, going through 100 different meditations and everything else because you're trying to figure out what's wrong.
Right. Overload.
Yeah.
And and it has a lot to talk about that another day, because I'd like to talk about the pineal gland with you another day. Have you on for that show where you can talk about how to activate your pineal gland.
Okay. Yeah.
That'll be very cool.
Bex,
It's
would you
announcement
like
time.
to announcement time?
Yay. Okay. So, in case nobody picked up the hints earlier that Rhonda laid out for us about the winner of this week's Share It Out, this person not only won a session of healing through your records with Rhonda, but they also won a clearing session with Rena Dwelly because they sent us a picture of them in a costume. So congratulations, Marla Torres. Your winning streak has ended today. We're going to have to cut you off for a little while. We love that you share. We love, love, love so much. Please keep sharing. And for the rest of you, let's step up the sharing a little bit. We have awesome things that you can win every week. And if you share it the most, you can win a reading with me. So share out this video, get it out there, spread the word and the light. And then whoever wins, shares out the most, will get a reading with me. So it's definitely worth it. It's super fun and gives you some insight and clarity. And I love being able to do it. So, all right, that's that one. The next one is right after this at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific is Nourishing Your Multidimensional Body with Kathy Homeyer. Hang out and check out her show, and you'll definitely be glad you did. Tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific is the Cosmic Ascension Report with Janelle Karaman, which we are all huge fans of. We love being able to check in with the energy, and we love all the shows on the Academy page. If you haven't checked them out, hang out, check out the pages every day. Just, tune in. You don't have to be there live if you can't make it. The replays are just as important and amazing and enlightening. Definitely worth going through and just kind of seeing what you resonate with and clicking on it and checking it out. There's new shows coming on. We just had Amanda Marie Masters has a new show that is on before us. And if you haven't watched her, holy cow, I was going to say something else. I'll edit. She's amazing. So I invite you to check her out too. She's on at 11 a.m. Eastern time on Sundays. So just before us now.
Before us.
The Akashic Magazine, again, that is free, and the link for that will be in the comments, yes? So check that out. Also, amazing articles that people from the Academy and outside the Academy write for spiritual benefit and enlightenment and tools and all of that. And the Akashic membership. If you have not joined our membership group yet, it is so worth it. Rhonda calls it the gym membership for spirituality, right? So you're going to use it a lot more, though, right, Rhonda?
You actually use. Yeah,
We'll
that you can
use it,
actually use.
So it's
use it.
$44 a month. You get to be a part of the Inside group where you can have intuitive classes. There's a weekly intuitive class with Emily Harrison, who has opened us all up exponentially to what we started out as before we met her. She has been an amazing coach and leader in our group. And she's the founder and director of the Academy, if you didn't already know. And then Coach Nick has Mindfulness Mondays. And you get to hang out with all of us and, reach out. There's a huge
spiritual family.
Yes, your soul family, soul tribe. I think that's all the.
You get to meet people like Nestor.
Yes, which if you have, I had so much fun doing exercises with Nestor. So if you're even considering it a little bit, reach out to him, because being able to, expand your muscle, your extra sensory muscles is such a fun thing to do. And I really appreciate you being here, Nestor. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you,
Yeah,
Esther.
and when
Thank
we have
you.
more time, we'll have some of the other stuff I talked about. Thank you, guys.
That'll be awesome.
Thank you.
Well,
Have a
thanks
blessed
very
week,
much.
everyone.
Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.
Namaste.